So how do you get and keep kids interested in hunting? Well, this may be one of the most important videos I've ever done because it's about more than growing a sport. It's about touching and impacting children's lives. So I'm gonna ask you guys for a favor right now. Please watch to the very end of this video and share it with others. That lets YouTube know that it's important, helps the video reach more people, and impact more children. George here with the New Hunter's Guide YouTube channel, and don't forget about that podcast, helping new hunters get started and bringing new insights to all hunters. Today we've got a viewer-requested video, and I have 7 keys to help get and keep kids interested in hunting. Now this is important for several reasons. Yes, it's helping grow the sport. Yes, it's getting kids outside, but it's doing something deeper on the inside of our children, of the next generation, something that is crucially important. And this is something that every parent, every grandparent, every aunt and uncle, everyone that has a child in their life at some level needs to know about. Now, a little bit of context before we jump into this. I am a trained university professor, and once upon a time, I taught future elementary education majors at the university level. Now, while my PhD is not in child psychology, it is in the social sciences. I'm also a pastor and a father. So I have maybe a little bit more background on this subject than the average YouTuber may. But let's go ahead and jump right into this list of 7 keys. Number 1 key, you need to inspire kids to want to hunt, to want to go outside. Maybe to want to go fishing, whatever you're trying to get them to do, you've got to inspire them. You've got to do something deep down on the inside that encourages them, that gives them vision, that sparks their imagination to do this. All right, there's a handful of good ways to do this. 1, you can tell them stories, just talk about it. Tell them about hunting. 2, you can get them into videos, TV shows, even some books that they can read or magazines about hunting. But the single greatest thing you can do, number 3 here, the single, and I say greatest, I mean nothing is even close to this that I have found, and that is read to the kid about hunting. When I say read, I don't just mean like encyclopedias and magazines. I mean actual books, things that are written about the subject, adventure stories about kids, for kids, that have to do with the outdoors, character building, stories that help kids develop on the inside to model good behaviors and inspire and encourage them about hunting. All right, single greatest thing that I've found. Now, I did not always think this way. I have never been a huge reader. I've never read much to my kid. When I was little, my family were not big readers. But one of you guys, Jack Armstrong, a pastor, a leader, a father, a lifelong hunter, author, and speaker, sent me this book here once upon a time. It's called Mystery in the Marsh. He said, hey, I've got kids about the same age as yours. This might encourage you and help you get them into the sport. So I thought, all right, he sent it. I was expecting a children's book. And this is not a children's book. This is a real book, pages full of words. And my first thought was, okay, my kid definitely can't read this. What am I gonna do with this book? I reached out to Jack. I said, hey, what's the deal with this? He said it was written to be read by parents to children. And I thought, there is no way my highly energetic 7-year-old is gonna sit through a book, this one or any other. But after a few days, I picked it off the shelf and said, hey, why not? Took him to bed early one day, said, we're gonna read a book. He looked at me dazed and confused. I turned the page and just awkwardly started reading aloud. Well, 2 or 3 days into that, he began to tell me, Mom, and everybody else how this was his favorite book that he had ever touched in his entire life. And he wanted to read it every night. He was asking to read it. I was shocked, stupefied, and amazed, couldn't figure this out. All right? And this is not like some kind of boring kid's book. We'd sit there and he'd be, Dad, can we do another chapter? Can we do another chapter? Can we do another chapter? And then I'd look over, he's snoring fast asleep, and I'd be like, dude, I gotta finish this chapter. I wanna know what happens next. This thing's got me hooked. And it's not just this book. I asked Jack, hey, do you have any more of these? And he said, oh yeah, I've got more. There are dozens of other books out there like this. This is an entire genre of books for kids. And then I found out 2 weeks after I began doing this, his teachers began to write home and said, hey parents, please start reading to your kids. It helps them learn to read. It helps them to develop their vocabulary. It helps them to develop comprehension. They hear words, they know what they mean, they know the context they're used in, and then when they go to sound them out or read them, they're able to pick them out, understand them, and then use them appropriately. I was totally blown away by this. Never entered into my mind. But there's something even bigger than that. Yes, reading to them helps develop their imagination. Yes, it helps them with reading, writing, and all those other things, but it does something way bigger, all right? Specifically to you dads out there. Reading builds relationship. It builds something inside the heart of kids that I never even realized needed to be built. When you sit down with a kid for 15 minutes and read to them, you're telling them that they're important. You're telling them that you care about them. You're telling them that you're willing to invest your time into them, that you're willing to share an experience with them. And this story and this book that you'll both have read and known and heard and be able to relate to the same thing. And it does something deep down on the inside of kids that strengthens, that builds, that encourages them as a person. And then when these stories are about the outdoors, when they're about hunting and fishing, it gives them vision and imagination to go out and explore that. Absolutely huge. Now, Jack is not sponsoring this video, but I will put a link down below to some of his books, and I'll go back and add more as he writes more. Number 2 key, modeling. You need to model and demonstrate the pursuit of hunting to children. Now, for a lot of dads, that is just them going away to deer camp once a week, and all they know that dad is gone. That is leaving, it is not modeling. You have to take them deeper. You've got to open the door. You've got to peel back the curtain on this thing. You've got to let them see more. Maybe they can't go with you to deer camp. They're not old enough, they're not ready, but maybe you could take them up for a work day. Maybe you could take them out to see your tree stand. Maybe you could start showing them magazines and things. Maybe you could begin to talk about what you're gonna do, and you can draw them in deeper. Number 3, you want to involve kids in every aspect of the hunt. All right, hunting is not just walking out into the woods, taking them early in the morning to a hunting blind that you set up to hunt deer that you've scouted with a rifle that you've sighted in, and then lining them up to pull the trigger at the right moment. That is teaching them to shoot an animal, but it's not teaching them to hunt. You want to involve them in everything, from picking out the gear. What are we gonna use and why? Scouting the animals, whether it's deer, turkey, ducks, pheasants, whatever you would do. Get them involved in working the land and setting up the blind or the tree stand or whatever it might be, and putting out the trail cameras. Invite them to be part of that process that's all year round and then leads up to opening day, when they go out having put in time, having put in energy, having put in effort, having been getting excited about it for weeks and months in advance as everything builds to that actual hunt. Number 4, you want to equip the kids for success. All right, you don't necessarily need to go out and buy them all Sitka gear, but when you're sitting there in a tree stand or in a hunting blind, wearing your down jacket and your merino wool socks, and they are shivering and cold, you are not setting them up to enjoy the hunt. There's no way they can really enjoy and appreciate this experience if the elements are rattling them to their core. They just want to go home. Now, places like Facebook Marketplace and eBay are amazing for this. You can buy really good quality gear that someone else's kid outgrew, use it for for a season or two, sell it, sometimes for the same amount you bought it for, maybe even more, take that money and buy the next size up. This is absolutely crucial to make the kids comfortable, to enjoy the hunt, and to want to go back and do it again. The next thing you need to do is go ahead and click the like button on this video. Not for me, but because it tells YouTube that this content is important and should be shown to more people. And you might as well go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. That one's for me. The real number 5 is that you want to pick the right hunt for the kid, for your kid or whoever it is that you're taking out. Not all 10-year-olds are ready for a 12-hour deer hunt. All right, you need to figure out what is the right thing for them. What's their energy level? What's their patience level? What's their interest level? Maybe you should take them out squirrel hunting, maybe pheasant hunting, maybe something that's active, high energy. Dove hunting could be a great place to start kids. There's a lot of kids that have became lifelong hunters because their dad or their uncle or their grandpa would take them out, and when they shot the dove, the kid would run out to retrieve it in the field. They became the dove retriever, and they had a ball doing that for a couple years, and then they graduated to getting a shotgun and being able to shoot the doves as well. There are all kinds of things that you can do. All right, running and gunning turkey hunting might be the right thing. Taking the kids out just for an hour or two deer hunt in the morning or in the evening might be the right thing to get them started. An hour or two duck hunt might be the right thing to get them in. Figure out what they're interested in, what they want to do, what's the right speed and energy level for them. Remember, the goal here is to make them want to do it, to want to come back, to enjoy it. Number 6 key, you need to recalibrate your expectations. Redefine what success is. Most hunters are laser focused on getting their deer, getting their turkey, getting their ducks, getting their pheasants, whatever they're after. You need to reprogram your brain and redefine success. Success is not getting this kid their first deer at all cost. Success is not their first limit of ducks at all cost. Success may be seeing animals. It may be hearing a turkey gobble. Success may be spending an hour in the woods. Success may be them wanting to come back, them enjoying it. All right, if you plan an all-day hunt and you get this kid out there and after an hour they're cold and they're shivering and their rear end hurts and they want to leave, don't sit there and say, oh man, well, we failed, we lost this hunt. Recalibrate, pivot, say, all right, now it's time to go to breakfast. Let's take them out. Let's have a good time. Make them enjoy this day. Maybe they'll want to go out after breakfast and hunt differently. Maybe they want to go out for the evening. Maybe they'll be more jazzed to go out next time. Maybe next year is the year that they become laser focused, but because you catered to them, because you encourage them, because you showed them that they're important and you did what would be fun for them, they're energized and want to do more of it. And then number 7, and this one's really hard, but it's also really important. Periodically give them the wheel. Hand them the steering wheel. Let them make decisions. Where do we hunt? What do we hunt? How do we hunt? What do we shoot? Maybe you've got a certain way that you like to hunt. Maybe you're a tree stand hunter for deer, and that's what you do, and that's all you do. Well, maybe they want to try and do a deer drive, or they want to still hunt, or they want to go out and hunt turkeys or pheasants or quail. Give them the steering wheel. Let them spread their wings. Let them try different things. Let them experiment and let them fail. And don't get upset with them when they do these things. It's about them having fun. You want to cultivate them having fun. How have you settled into your most effective way of hunting that you enjoy the most? Well, chances are you tried a bunch of other stuff, it didn't work, or it didn't work as well. where you didn't like it as much, and then you settled wherever you are now. You've got to give them that opportunity to try other things, to see what works, to see what doesn't work, to see what sparks them. What sparks them may not be what sparks you, and you've got to be okay with that. You've got to be all right with them being runner and gunner when you're a sitter. All right, you've got to be okay with them still hunting when you're a stand hunter. You've got to be okay with them jump hunting when you just want to hunt in a blind over decoys. You got to be okay with them wanting to hunt squirrels when you hate small game. You need to open that door and invite them periodically, not all the time, every time necessarily, but periodically give them the opportunity to take the wheel, to steer this thing, and to go in the direction that excites them. Even if you know they're going to fail, even if you know it's not going to work, let them figure out it doesn't work. Let them figure out they shouldn't do it next time, so that when you go out in the future and you want to hunt what you consider to be a more effective way, they know that stupid idea is not going to work because they tried it, they walked it out, they gave it their best shot, and now they want to try something else that might be more successful. And if they're able to drive from time to time, it will spark their creativity. It'll get the wheels turning in their head. They're not just trying to copy your pattern, they're trying to come up with their own patterns. And if you will let this happen, even if it hurts on the inside, watching them do stuff that you know is not going to work, if you will let their creativity churn and turn and figure this thing out and problem solve, you will set them up to become a better hunter than you in the long run, to figure out things you never figured out, to learn things, to grow in areas. It may take years, it may take decades, but you're inspiring them to use this and to learn more and to do better than what you're able to pass on to them. Now, some people will feel like if they follow this list of keys, it may completely and totally remove their ability to hunt anymore. They will have lost the joy of hunting, they'll have lost the sport altogether, and it becomes just about the kid. Well, that's kind of a selfish way of looking at it, but let's be fair about this. You do not always have to make every hunt with them or for them. You can separate these things. You could keep some things for yourself, and you can keep some things focused on them. Maybe you don't take them to your favorite tree stand that's a 10 out of a 10, that's the best stand ever for hunting. Instead, you work with them to build a blind that's maybe a 5 out of 5 for hunting. It's not the best hunting spot, but it works good for them because it gives them cover to fidget, because the deer aren't going to be coming in that close and won't be spooked as easily. Maybe they can see a lot of doe passing in the distance where your stand is real good for taking bucks, and you're able to go with them and 100% focus yourself and your time and your energy and expectations on the child when you go with them to their spot that you help them scout and build. And then other days, you go out on your own, 100% focused on what you want to do to your spot. But when you're with the kid, devote and dedicate your attention, your time, and your expectations to helping them grow. It's not just about turning them into a hunter. You are helping cultivate relationships inside of them, showing them that you care, showing them that they're important, that they're valuable. It fills a void on the inside of kids that neither they nor you know that they have, but it can help them grow and develop as a person in ways that almost nothing else can. Now, the next thing you need to do is click the link down below to check out Jack's book, Mystery in the Marsh. Check out this video right here that I did on how to keep you and your kid warm on super cold hunting days for cheap. And check out this video right here where I tested the warmest hunting socks. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you, and go get them in the woods.